Hello, WAT listeners and BTC Fiber subscribers, whether it be on Channel 18 or YouTube. Don't adjust your TV or your radio. This is time for the Albert and Billy Show, but no, I am not Billy.
But I am Albert.
And we are so thankful that Albert is here. The one that maintains structure to this show, keeps us on track, has a schedule for us and a program each week. So thankful that he's able to do that. Billy is feeling under the weather, offered to come in sick. I told him if he's sick, I'd rather not be in close quarters with him. Please stay home. So, on short notice, to find a guest host, I've just stepped around the camera and going to be on this side. I told him I could laugh and act goofy, as good as anybody. So
there you go. Better than some.
I would say so. The goofy part for sure. I don't know about my life. But, so, I guess, how is he always? Hello, Paw Paw. How are you, Paw Paw?
It's not as hot today as it was yesterday.
Yeah, boy.
I saw 105 on my thermometer yesterday.
105.
105. I don't know what time of day it was. I guess it's 3 o'clock.
Right in the middle.
But I looked out and I saw 105. I don't think it's that hot today.
Not as bad. They're kind of saying we might get a break in this heat here in the middle of next week. Might get some rain.
I thought it looked like it might rain. I didn't roll my windows down.
My place could use a rain. You know, we got a rain up there when we was at the Lucky Star, fortunately.
Yes.
But I don't think we've had one since that day.
Vicky told me yesterday it rained in Crossville.
Yes.
When they were up there.
Well, good. All right, so what's next? I know I sit here every week, but as y'all know, I kind of doze off from time to time. When I'm on the other side of the camera, I shouldn't tell that.
Well, I think the first thing is birthdays.
Birthdays. Happy birthday, August the 28th, Curtis Mills. Samantha Walker on August the 29th. Missy Hargis the 29th. Jade Evans, Patrick Turner, all on the 29th. David Morgan and Sydney Mills on the 30th.
That's today.
That's today. Happy birthday today. We won't sing. Donna Oaks on the 31st. On September the 1st, Dixie Egan, Gwen Woodall, Aubrey Turner, and Charlie Miller. And I'll add my brother, Ethan Loyd.
All on September the 1st?
All on September the 1st, which I think is tomorrow. Sunday. Labor Day this year just happens to fall that way. Cheryl Wheeler and Casey Haston. And then on September the 3rd, Rhonda Robertson and Roberta Smith. Happy birthday to you all.
Will you be working Monday?
Not Monday. We get Labor Day off. I'm a laborer.
I wish I were a laborer.
Will you get Monday off?
I never did get. When I got a vacation, Merle said, be back to work on Friday. So our vacation lasted from Monday to Thursday. And I did that for 42 years.
Weekend's bigger for the grocery stores.
Oh, shoot, yeah. Friday is a big day.
Friday's a big day.
That was back then. I don't know about now.
Well, people get paid on Friday and then want to store get their groceries before they left town.
Yes. And when we sold the store in 1982, we left town on Friday. We went. We didn't have to work on Friday, but we went to other towns and got us something to eat. I can remember that.
But you still worked till Friday then. You worked for the new owners?
Oh, yes, but on Friday afternoon we got off, whatever time we got off. But I got a 2 weeks vacation with them.
Paid?
Paid vacation.
Paid time off. That's the biggest benefit to having a public job, in my opinion, the paid time off.
The perks.
And
perks.
Sick days, being able to get paid when you don't feel good.
Yeah.
Which I guess Billy's getting paid time off today. We're still going to thank the sponsors here after the break, aren't we?
We got the sponsors here.
Good deal.
But now we'll do the announcements.
You want me to do one?
You'll do 2 or 3 or 4.
Oh, I do all mine and then you do all yours?
Yeah.
We don't go back and forth?
I've got a bunch.
The Lucky Stars 11th Annual Bledsoe Bash. That's happening right now, right? They start on Friday night.
Friday night,
August the 30th. That is today.
Yes, it's today.
31st and September 1st and 2nd. So getting a bonus day. Gates open Friday at 5, so that's just here any minute for our radio listeners. Saturday at 11. If you have questions, contact Mikey Bledsoe, 883-3814, or Kelly Bledsoe. I guess I ought to give the zip code anymore. People, 10-digit numbers are important. So, yeah, these are 423 numbers, 423-762-3097. That's Kelly's number. But this is a donation event, $10 donation or more, $5 for a kid, and then they buy Christmas gifts for all the underprivileged kids in Bledsoe County.
Kelly keeps up with that, what they do each year. She has pictures to prove it.
6086 Upper East Valley Road. Again, 6086 Upper East Valley Road, Pikeville, Tennessee. And that's just up 6 miles.
6 miles from the courthouse, he said.
How long did you think it'd take you to be here from the courthouse?
They say I drive faster than the average. But I think it takes about 10 or 15 minutes to drive up there.
I'd say 10 minutes to cover it. But not a bad drive, beautiful drive.
It is, and let me tell you, it's worth it to be there.
Tents are $20 per night. RVs are $25 per night. And then food is provided. I'm assuming you have to pay for it, but they have meals that you can get right there from Mama Jessie's Grill. I reckon that's a food truck in Chattanooga or something like that.
They said it was good.
Oh, they said it was great.
There's going to be 3 meals a day, by the way.
Fishing and a swimming. Bring your own lunch here. And the music, which we've had Cam and the Fresh Buzz on, and the Danger Teague, they wanted to get him on the show before the event this year, but we didn't get the logistics done. But they showed me previews of all their bands. Man, that's some seriously good entertainment. Cam and the Fresh Buzz, of course, they provide or performed right there live for us, and they're all kinds of good entertainment, I think.
Cam has got a good voice.
Oh, yeah. And to be able to carry them notes, and it's loud and long, got some good lungs behind the voice, too.
He does.
Yeah, he can sing. He can bell it out.
Maybe all that hair helps him out.
I don't know. All right, next announcement. So I go all of mine, and then you go all of yours. So, Piable Water System needs our customers' assistance. So, if you're on city water due to the lack of rainfall, and I believe that's the truth, man alive, it is dry.
I'd like to think people sense, without this warning, that they need to conserve water.
Well, but then you want to, if you're not thinking about it, if you think the water supply is plenty, you're worried about keeping your stuff from dying, I mean, that's, so yeah, it's worth a announcement to my opinion, because like I say, I'm sitting there, if I thought the city had plenty of water, I'd be wanting to water my plants,
I think I heard LeVon bring it up in church one night about praying for water.
Oh, I'd say so. That's his baby there. So due to lack of rainfall, drought conditions, our wells have reached the voluntary restrictions level indicated on our drought management plan. We are asking customers to stop all unnecessary use of water to help us make it through this drought. That's Pikeville Water Systems. Thanks you for your cooperation and understanding. Pikeville Water Plant Manager LeVon Brock. 447-3451. That number's kind of grayed out. I wonder if I'm supposed to call that out. We won't call it twice.
Donna might answer.
Yeah. And guess what's coming up first weekend of October, as always?
The Fall Festival.
Pikeville Fall Festival, which is October the 5th this year, but it's always the first Saturday in October. It's coming up. They've got a great plan. I mean, they've got vendors, all kinds of vendors this year. Not going to concentrate as much on trying to get a big headliner band, but got entertainment all day long. All kinds of great vendors. It was packed last year.
Okay, is it going to be centrally located at the Main Street stage?
I think all the entertainment's going to be on Main Street stage this year, and then they'll have the giveaways like they always do. Tons and tons of vendors, lots of good food. So it's just going to be a good event like always. And again, October the 5th, mark your calendar. That's just right around the corner.
I wonder how many years in a row we've done this.
it was the 30th, I think, on COVID year that they didn't have it. I think they skipped the 30th maybe year. Does that make sense? They had it 30th year. They didn't have one, so the 30th event was on the 31st year from the beginning. I think that's right, something like that. But it's over 30 years they've been doing this. So
that speaks well of itself right there.
Yeah. And my last announcement: gospel meeting at the Pikeville Church of Christ. A block away or 2 blocks? How would you count that?
1 block away.
1 block away, 1 full block, corner to corner. September the 8th through the 11th, 2024. Speaker is Steve Brown. Steve's local.
Dayton.
Yeah, he preaches over at Dayton. He's local. Donna Worthington's his sister, and he's got other siblings. But if you know Donna and Wendell,
oh yes,
Donna's his sister. Steve's great speaker. Does a great job explaining the gospel. Sunday Bible study.
Is that one of the oldest churches in town?
Oh, I would think so.
I would think so.
I would think so. Just looking at the building. I don't know anything about the history on it.
Well, it's been there since I was a kid. And then back before then.
I bet if we went around there and looked, they ought to have a plaque or something on it.
I've not seen a plaque.
That might be worth. That might be some of our. You kind of quit your Pikeville trivia there you on for a while. Pikeville history trivia. We might need to help fire some of that back up.
I'd like to do that. That interests me.
I might help you in the off time during the week.
I bet you got some things.
Look up some facts.
Yeah, I bet you could find a bunch.
Sunday Bible study starts at 10 a.m. and that's right here on Main Street. Everybody knows where the Pikeville Church of Christ is. Sunday worship starts at 11 a.m. Got topics of overview of Acts, reaching others. That's important, the evangelism part. Sunday evening at 7, he's going to talk about learning from Jesus how to die. Monday evening at 7 o'clock, a great day of surprises. Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock, your individual responsibility. Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock, reflections from walking in a cemetery.
Wow.
So, deep subjects right there.
Sounds interesting.
I have to check some of that out. Learning from Jesus how to die.
Wow. You know, you do not want to know when it's your time to die. But after Carolyn died, I got with a woman that knew she was going to die in 3 years. The doctors told her her situation would terminate in 3 years. 6 months was already gone. So we got together. And while we were together, she got a call one day from Emory University Hospital in Atlanta. They said, come down here and we'll replace your aorta valve, go up through your groin instead of opening you up. So we were together 4 years and 7 months.
I extended that, eh?
And then she died when she was 77. Carolyn died when she was 77. So if you're 77, don't bother me.
That's 77. That's, sevens are supposed to be the lucky numbers, aren't they?
Yes. You gotta have 3 of them in a row, I think.
Oh, 3 of them. Oh,
Are you through now?
Well, I don't have anything. I probably could make up some stuff.
I'm going to give you some. The class of 1989 that graduated here from Bledsoe County High School is going to have a reunion. It's going to be on Saturday, September the 21st. That revival you're talking about at the Church of Christ starts a week from this Sunday. So don't forget that. This is going to be at the Pikeville Municipal Building. That's down in my neighborhood. And it's going to be at 6 o'clock. And let's see, at 5 o'clock they're going to have a social hour and a meal. But the meeting starts at 6. The cost is $20 per person. And they want to make sure that you have your place reserved no later than the 10th day of September. So if you want to be sure that you're enrolled, you make your check payable to the Bledsoe County class of 1989, and the Conda Hassel is the person that you want to contact. And this is going to be a big thing. It's going to be a big thing. And so they want you to be sure and be here for that. If you have any questions, you call Kimberly A. Johnson, and his number is 517-449-0480. It's interesting to have reunions. I wonder why people have reunions. Is it to show how successful I am, or is it to be able to see that person that you graduated with 20 years ago, or 40 years ago, or 50 years ago, or whatever? But anyway, then the Bledsoe County Board of Education has got 2 announcements in the Bledsoe this week. They're going to have a meeting at 6 o'clock, which is a regularly scheduled Board of Education meeting. At 5:30, they're going to have a planning session. So that's the reason there's 2 announcements in the local paper. Bledsoe County Board of Education. This is on Monday, September the 3rd. So don't forget that. And
Tuesday.
What now?
Tuesday. We're skipping Monday this week.
Oh, that's right. It says September the 3rd. Well, that's right. That's Tuesday.
Yeah,
That's
look at
first
my
mistake I
calendar.
ever
I
made.
can't keep up.
Saturday, don't forget the farmers market's going to be open from 8 to 12. Then there's going to be a car show at the Fall Creek Falls Community Center on September the 7th. That's going to be located at 13692 Park Road. And this is the annual car show up that area. And it's going to be on Saturday from 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So they want you to be sure and be here for that. It's a free event to the public, and everybody else who wants to come. They are giving you a telephone number to contact if you have some more information you want. That number is 423-881-5154. Also, there is to be a community distribution center scheduled on September the 6th. This is by SETHRA. That is short for Southeastern Tennessee Human Resource Agency. They're going to be distributing commodities to eligible Bledsoe County residents. I'm surprised that people would try to say they're from Bledsoe County if they're not from Bledsoe County, because you would have to have proof.
What are they distributing it out in, or you come pick it up?
It's going to be at the fairgrounds, and you will need a card to participate. That commodity card is distributed to people that receive it, and if you already signed up, then you don't get a card until October 20. That card was issued in 2023, so you will need to bring anything to participate. If you're not already signed up, you haven't been issued a card, then you need to get a card, or to prove that you are, you prove your income, you prove that you how many people are in your household or whatever. But anyway, they want you to be there if you're eligible. So they want you to go by the office and sign up if you haven't already. This is good. This has been done. Let me tell you, a woman from our church asked me last week if I received this lunch that they provide at the Senior Citizen Center. I said, no, I do not. She said, get in my car, I'm going to take you up there. She did. They gave me a lunch that day. They signed me up, and I got a phone call this week from Chattanooga. They asked me all kinds of pertinent questions about my monthly income and everything, and how many people lived in my household and everything. And she said, you'll be signed up. So I'll get a lunch every day for 5 days. I'll get a hot lunch. On Friday, I'll get a frozen dinner for Saturday and Sunday.
There's a lot of good programs out there people just don't know is there.
I did not know it.
And the senior center, I don't think they ask no questions. I think they have a meal regular. It's just a donation right there. I think that they just make, don't they? Don't they?
They told me I could come down there and eat.
Yeah, and I think they'd love to have people come eat with them. And like I say,
yeah.
I think they just make the stuff and bring it in the other members of the senior citizens.
No, the meals that they provide are brought into them from Chattanooga.
Okay.
It's in a little little plastic container, and it was hot. The one they gave me had hamburger and a bun, and peaches and baked beans. So it's a good deal.
Good baked beans.
Yeah, I ate every bite of everything.
I like baked beans.
So that's all I have right now.
So what's next?
Well, okay, I guess we'll have trivia and then we'll have a break.
Trivia, then a break.
Trivia.
Oh my.
You get to be the answerer today.
And not even my lifeline today. I mean, he calls on me. I try to stay awake through trivia.
These are randomly selected. I have no idea where they come from. They come out of my mind. Can you give me the name of the world's longest river?
I'm gonna guess the Nile, but
That's correct.
All right.
What do you call the area where you plant a leaf lettuce?
Well, I'd call it a lettuce bed, but in my garden, or
that's what I would call
just a bed.
A bed.
All right.
If you are a cranberry grower, where do you plant your cranberries?
Oh, cranberries come on trees?
No, they come in a bog.
I did not know.
A bog is, they flood it with water.
Okay.
Okay, what about your rice? What do you call where you grow rice?
Okay, now rice paddies. I know they
Rice
they flood those, yeah.
And that's something, think of all the different names where you grow products. Okay, Cecil Morgan, Mac Brown produced grapes. Where are grapes grown?
Well, just in a vineyard or on a vine.
Oh, okay, but what do you call it?
The vineyard?
The vineyard.
Yeah.
Or an arbor.
Okay. Well, an arbor's a structure, though, that in the vineyard, within the vineyard, right?
Holds the vineyard.
So.
Okay, I've known several that grew strawberries. What do you call where you grow your strawberries?
Just a patch.
A patch. Boy, you're doing well. If
I'm
you know,
disappointed about my cranberry knowledge, but I just never put any thought into cranberries.
Cranberries are grown
never been around them.
north of here in the eastern part of the United States. If you were a king, you would rule over a, what would you call the place that you ruled over?
My kingdom, I guess.
Kingdom. Last one. On this planet you live on, how much land do we have to grow all this produce on?
How much land?
How much land?
Well, that's something I probably ought to know as much as I like to know agriculture facts, but no, not a clue.
75% of this land, this planet we live on, is water.
Okay, so you're just saying the 25% of the earth.
25% is water, is land.
It's okay. All right.
So I will do the sports when we get back.
When we get back from our break.
You don't have to take a break if you don't want to.
Well, we'll pause the show, get us a water break. It's hot. Take us a drink, take us a pause. So, stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back here on WAT. If you're watching us on Channel 18 BTC Fiber or on YouTube, oh, I know what Billy always says. Like, subscribe, make nice comments. He says nice ones.
I wonder how many bad comments he's got.
I don't know. We'll have to get him to read some if he's got any bad comments. Tell us what they are. Would it retaliate? Answer the comments.
I do the Sunday school lesson on television for the church every week, and I do it once a week. They told me, the men from the jail, told me that people contact our pastor from all over the world that goes to on Facebook. That blows my mind. It blows my mind. To think that people in Africa or Billy told me that sometimes he gets texts from places he doesn't even know how to pronounce.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Well, stay tuned. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back, folks. Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, connecting the Sequatchie Valley to the world.
At Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter, we're committed to be better. Better prices, better vehicles, a better experience. Your Jason Lewis Dunlap Supercenter understands that you rely on us to provide you with the highest quality of used vehicles. With over 350 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. So what are you waiting for? Let us show you a better experience with the Jason Lewis Automotive family. Come visit us at Rankin Avenue here in Dunlap or on the web at dunlapsupercenter.com.
You need a bank that you can depend on. Here at Citizens Tri-County Bank, we have the most dependable staff that you will ever meet. Call in, you will not get an automated attendant, you'll get a person. But on the other side, we have all the technology that anyone would need, from apps to online banking to bill pay. So please come and grow with us as we're about to celebrate our 50th year. We are the only community bank you will ever need.
Support small business and shop DunlapMercantile.com.
Welcome back, WAT listeners. If Billy is listening from home, we interrupted a Shania song just for you, Billy. We'll get back started. Welcome back, BTC Fiber subscribers and YouTube subscribers. We didn't talk about Albertology. That's he always says, good old Albertology when we get back. We didn't even mention what we're going to do when we got back, did we?
You know, I've got all this for one more year.
Got a year's worth of material ready and laid out.
I've got a year's worth of Albertology, along with jokes, and I do the sports as it happens.
Yeah, can't build up a year worth of sports history. That might be another trivia subject, but I would fail miserably at that. The local history, I think I could do all right on that. And you give us today, trivia-wise, that you did today, there's a lot of agriculture based. You didn't ask where you raised cattle. In a pasture. I would have got it right.
Well, I was going to ask you when you were giving the idea of the information about the Church of Christ having a revival down there. Do you know where their parsonage was? It's gone, but it was right where Stanford Pharmacy is now.
Okay, so they had just had a house.
I remember the day they moved that house.
Well, now which house is that then?
It's out near the ball court. I think the house that Sherry DeGeno lives in.
Okay, I don't know that. But Wade's house was the Baptist church.
That used to be right next to the First Southern Baptist Church. Belonged to the Breedings. Belonged to Mr. Chisholm's ancestors. That's been a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
But I remember the day they moved that house.
Pretty neat something to watch.
They had to move these lines.
I've not been involved in moving any lines to move a house. Once when I was still working on the outside, they was up Don Alts, he is still alive, still had his junkyard. They'd been up there crushing cars. Talking about moving lines made me think of this. And if you ever watched them crush cars?
No.
So you can just imagine a great big hydraulic press, but I'm talking about hydraulic cylinders. It's probably this big around, 2 of them. And they set that car in, and it presses down, crushes that car. Well, it's a mobile unit. It's made on, hooks on a fifth wheel and just sets down, rides real low to the ground. But when you raise that up, them hydraulic cylinders come out the top of that thing. Well, the man they sent to move it from crushing all the cars there at Don's to wherever they was going next, he didn't lower that thing. Them cylinders is still up in the air. Hey, he was plumb into Cold Springs dragging lines before they got him stopped. He tore down everything, come across the road.
He did not know it.
No. Just kept coming.
What about that?
That was a long evening. We put lots of lines back across the road.
Our pastor has a sign on his wall, men are stupid.
That's the truth. I saw a sign, and we'll get to the sponsors after this. Saw a sign that says everything happens for a reason. My wife's all the time saying that. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And then below it had a caption. Sometimes the reason is because you're stupid. And you make bad decisions.
And that will happen until Jesus comes.
Yeah. Well, I can make some bad decisions. So let's thank our sponsors. These are good decisions. Citizens Tri-County Bank, Bilbrey's Insurance, Scotty's of Pikeville, the offices of Janine Morton, Lisa Wheeler, and Michael Walker, Farm Bureau Insurance, Morgan Brothers Restaurant, State Farm Insurance, Nickel Row Antiques, right here where we're sitting, Milldam Outdoor Adventures, It's Lola's, Bill Wolf and the Lee Station Baptist Church, The Daily Stop, It's Quilting Time. Hours are Monday, Thursday, and Friday, 11 to 4. I needed to know that. Reckon she'd fix a pair of pants.
I'm sure she would.
I had a button come off a pair of pants.
Well, I don't know if they've got that part of the facility set up yet or not, but I've had some adjustments done.
Well, I stuck them in the truck the other day, and I come down and the building was shut, and I didn't find the hours anywhere posted on the building, and I didn't know when to come
4.
back. Monday, Thursday, and Friday, 11 to 4. But I don't think I've got them with me today, and we'll probably be 4 o'clock getting done. So I'll just have to try them next Thursday, because I'm not going to come down next Monday unless I just have to, and I bet they'll be closed.
I don't blame you.
The Lucky Star is a sponsor. We've just talked about their big event going on starting at 5 o'clock, but they also have other events, and you can go up there and rent cabins and enjoy the Lucky Star.
If the rain doesn't hit.
All right. Dexter's Barber Shop. And then got the address to the Lucky Star here. So.
I did that.
All right. And I guess the office, when we was doing the offices of, we should have added Zach Ollendorf, his notes down here at the bottom. So.
There's 4 up there at the courthouse.
Okay. Janine Morton, Lisa Wheeler, and Zach Ollendorf all out of the courthouse. So. All right. That's
Good
the sponsors list. And of course BTC for putting this on the air. We always need to
Let me tell you
throw a
something.
shout out to BTC. Of course we'll get our banner. Can't watch the show without seeing it. Of course you don't hear that on the radio. It's a radio program as
But
well.
BTC Fiber has their nose in a lot of businesses and a lot of what goes on in this valley.
Well, I've told people before with what I do, and it's not just me, all the managers that are out and about in the community and other communities, but if Charlie sees an opportunity for us to help, it makes our service area where we live a better place. We pretty much got the green light on it. Now, I mean, within reason. I don't have a budget, or even I can't spend money, but you know what I'm saying. If we bring it back to him, it's usually a go. If there's an opportunity.
Usually, if you make a recommendation, that's going to involve some personal integrity on your part, some personal sweat.
Well, most of what mine is my time.
Yeah.
With my position. But like I say, then they sponsor a lot of things as well, financially. With it, like I say, but that goes within reason. That, anytime there's a physical note, I guess you would say, that's what the political stuff would say. If there's a physical note attached to it, it takes different consideration. But yeah, if he sees something that we can go out and do, help, it's...
How many hours does Channel 18 televise?
How many hours? I'm not sure. I mean, we're 24 hours a day.
24 hours a day?
Yeah, but of course, people know we run the loop. But when we first started the brainstorming the TV shows, or the Channel 18, how we were going to do it, there was a lot of downloading public domain. So I've got Petticoat Junction runs, downloaded that. But we looked at Andy Griffith, the Beverly Hillbillies, and other stuff like that that's old enough that we can grab it without having to pay the syndication fees.
Go.
Well, I looked at that, and I did pull the Petticoat Junction. It helps me hold some order in my schedule and stuff like that. But it wasn't on any other channel as well. But I thought Andy Griffith, Beverly Hillbillies, you know, you can get that on another station.
Yeah.
So that was one show that I saw that's not on anywhere else. I'll every once in a while sprinkle in some Annie Oakley. You can't get it anywhere else. Probably you might can on the Western channel, but ain't not a lot of those episodes that I've got. But other than that, they talked about, you know, trying to do time slots of what we put on in the mornings, what we put midday, afternoon, prime time, and then at the night we would go to that type of stuff. But I tell people, the most people that had tell me they've been watching Channel 18 say they couldn't sleep at night, so they turned over there.
Oh.
So I'm tickled, and so what I do is just instead of playing this stuff just one time and then trying to play something else, is just play it again. You know, play it in the morning and then play it again in the middle of the night. So we run a loop. It repeats every 21 hours for a week, and then I freshen it up.
Okay.
It runs 21 hours again next week. So.
Well, I've
Shuffle it
noticed
around.
in viewing Channel 18, a lot of times you hear BTC Fiber mentioned.
Oh yeah, well that's our outlet. So if we don't sing our praises on our own channel, where else we gonna sing them, or who's
Well, if you got a horn to toot it.
Yeah, well, a lot of good goes on. You know, giving back to the community. A lot of the employees are very sincere, passionate, and I don't know what's the right word, but dedicated.
They're conscientious.
The people that work there, they worry about keeping services working. They worry about the community being good. I mean, they're very, very good people that work up there with a good work ethic. You know,
it's not just you.
Oh no,
no. And it's for the public.
Oh yeah.
It's for the public.
Cooperative, owned by the public, member owned. Not
But
out there
I
trying
noticed-
to make a ton of money, give it back if we did.
I noticed one of the commercials that the telephone company did, it had Bobby Clemens in it.
Yeah, that's we got some old footage, and then there's an old commercial, an old video they made in Bobby Clemens' era. It's about 7 minutes long. We dug it out of the archives not long ago. I think Brody's the one that stumbled across it. Brody Burgess, he comes up here and helps some weeks when
Yes.
I'm not available. He's super.
Bobby Clemens gave me a ballpoint pen he made.
Made
He made it out of a tree that I gave him, plum tree. That was in my neighbor's yard, and it was dying, so I told him about it, and he said I'd like to have it. So I said, come down and cut it down. He made me a ballpoint pen out of it. Bobby Clemens. Okay, it's time for sports. Last week, Aaron Judge, he plays for the New York Yankees. He hit home runs number 50 and 51. He's on track. Bear in mind, the World Series starts next month. No, October.
Okay.
So he's got the whole month of September, plus what he does in August. To get to 61 and break it, he's on par to hit 63 home runs. But I don't know what he'll do. But anyway, Aaron Judge is on par to break the World Series, the baseball record held by Hank Aaron. 61 home runs. Roger Maris tied it in 61, I believe it was.
Now I know all the commentators, then they'll turn around and try to talk, you know, to compare times. Hank Aaron had how many at bats and this and that. So is it a comparable? Has he had way more at bats? Is there?
Well, when Babe Ruth hit the home runs, he hit 60. Back then, baseball season was only 154 games.
Okay, so it's more games.
Now you play 162 games. So that's 8 more games. So you could hit 1 or 2 more home runs in a season. So how do you compare? Last week I said that people sit down and they compare basketball pros you have to have Magic Johnson in there. You have to have Michael Jordan in there, and you have to have Larry Bird in there. But you've got Steph Curry, and you've got LeBron James, and you've got one more that played in the in the Olympics. So how do you compare those that are currently performing with those who performed yesteryear? You got to realize the three-point shot's not been always there. Some of those men performed back when they shot that long shot and just counted 2 points.
Dr. J.
I don't remember hearing his name mentioned.
They don't talk about him. Wasn't he?
But
Did he kind of perfect the hook shot? They don't even
Uh,
shoot that way no more.
I remember people that shot their foul shots underhanded.
Granny.
It's just not fair to compare yesteryear with this year. It's not fair. But anyway, that's what goes on.
Well, anytime there's a record at stake, that's when they're really going to do it. If you're going to break somebody from yesteryear's record, then they want to try to put it on a fair basis. But yeah, I'm right there with you. It's just everything evolves, so
But why are records set
to be broken.
to be broken? Why is Mount Everest there? Why do people climb Mount Everest? Because it's there.
Yeah.
Okay, the U.S. Open has opened, and we'll have a steady diet of tennis for several more days. Coco Gauff earned her first victory, but Osaka got upset yesterday, so she's out. But anyway, people that like tennis, right now is the time to enjoy tennis. Tennessee plays Chattanooga tomorrow, UTC, at 11:45 our time on the SEC channel. That's channel 8, channel 21, on channel 18. Tennessee is ranked number 15. We have in the SEC conference 9 teams that are ranked in the top 20. So that's almost 50% of the teams that are ranked in the top 20 are in the SEC. Georgia is number 1, Texas is number 4, Alabama is number 5, Ole Miss is number 6, LSU is number 13, Missouri is number 11, Texas A&M is 20, Tennessee is number 15, but there is a good representation out of the Southeastern Conference. When I watch football on television or basketball, I want to watch an SEC team, not just randomly whoever's on there. I like to watch someone that I'm interested in. Okay, on Friday, last Friday, a week ago today, our Bledsoe County Warriors took on the folks down Dunlap way. That's a suburb of Pikeville. People from Dunlap they don't like me for saying that, but the symbol of supremacy between those two schools is a trophy, and that trophy is called Chief Roaring Eagle. There has been a hiatus for 2 years. It's resided in Dunlap, but now that trophy resides in Bledsoe County's trophy case. This is furnished by the bank up here, not Citizens Bank, but the other bank.
First Farmers and Commercial Bank.
That was always First National Bank to me, but
too.
it's First Farmers and Commercial Bank now. But anyway, they furnished that trophy, and it's a symbol of supremacy between those two schools. Whichever one is the best, they get that trophy. And so we got it last. What I heard was hue and cry from people that were fans. They could not understand why the game between your arch rival was the first game of the year.
Well, I think the coaches have realized that it was such a a focal point all year long. I think I've heard Coach Tabor explain this, that it was just such, that's what they worried about. And it no longer matters. We're not in the same region, so it no longer matters for district play. So it's only the rivalry. That's all that's at stake with it.
So whichever game it is.
So just play it, get it over with, get it out of the way, and then you can focus on the rest of your season. Both programs could, and it's not TSSAA is who dictates the regions but the school size. See, Sequatchie County School has outgrown Bledsoe, so they're in a different size bracket even than us now. So
what's the coach's name?
Ours, Coach Tabor.
What's his first name?
Dwayne.
I'm
tickled that I got that. I'm terrible with names, especially when on the spot.
Well, I went to the dentist this week, and the lady that helped in the proceedings that I had done, her name, I don't remember her name, but her last name was Tabor. She said she's married to Cliff Tabor.
Cliff
Tabor.
So that'd be one of Dwayne's younger brothers.
I knew it was one of those Tabors.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a younger brother. Athletic, that whole family.
But this took place at the newly named Johnny Boynton Field. Stadium. The field is James T. Warden Field. People don't realize that at Tennessee, the Shield Watkins Field is where the ball game is played, but it's in Neyland Stadium.
Yeah, Neyland Stadium's what most people think of, but I bet you, I can't speak for him. I shouldn't speak for him, I guess, but I would bet that Coach Boynton wouldn't agree to do anything if they wasn't going to keep Coach Warden's name somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure of that.
The utmost respect, he had for the Warden family.
Oh, yes.
And what they meant to him coming through. So
I remember when Miss Warden first came here, he couldn't even drive. Couldn't even drive. I can remember his predecessor. But okay, let's see. The score of that game last night was last Friday was 23-13, and we won. So that's the big thing. Okay. I heard this on the Paul Feinbaum show. It caught Paul Feinbaum off guard. This man said, I don't remember his name, he said Nick Saban is going to Ohio State. Did you heard that? It caught Paul Feinbaum. He did not know what to say. He said, I've not heard this. He said, are you sure? He said, you wait and you'll hear it. But anyway, that was yesterday. I've not heard any more about it today. But Nick Saban retired from Alabama. Georgia's in Alabama.
Think so.
Well, they're ranked number 1 2 years in a row.
Well, I mean, they were the ones that's giving Alabama the run for their money when Saban was still there, the most consistently anyways.
I like Georgia's coach, but Nick Saban is the closest thing to Jesus that I ever saw. He's the closest to walking on water.
In Alabama, anyway.
Okay, yesterday the SEC got started. Missouri played Murray State, and it was a runaway. But Colorado had their hands full. It was 24-20 the last time I saw it. They were playing North Dakota State. But anyway, to finish up sports, Steph Curry signed a 1-year extension to his contract. That 1-year extension was for $62.6 million for 1 year.
He ought to be able to keep the lights on with that.
Why that?
He ought to be able to keep the light bill paid with that.
When I was a monitor at Hot Lunch, I was a monitor for 3 hours a day, and then they increased it to 3.5 hours. I did it for 7 years. It paid all my utility bills, my phone bill, my light bill, and my water bill. All 3 of them, and then I had a little money left. I miss that. missed that. Okay, I have one more thing in sports. This man's name is Roger Federer. He said, I beat some of the top players I really admired by aiming right at their strengths. Before I would run away from their strengths, but now I realize I need to attack their strengths. If I could master their strength, then I could win the ball game. So he said, I took a chance at doing that. If they had a strong backhand, I would feed it to the backhand. If they had a strong forearm, in the forearm, well, the other way. He said I would measure on that. So he said that this is the way he found to do victories. Roger Federer. He graduated from Dartmouth College. Roger Federer had a lot of fans in tennis world.
Focus on beating them by their own strengths. Then,
I never heard of that. He's the first person I've heard of that.
And then you might, tennis being a one-person sport, basically you're your own coach. On a team sport, it might still be best to try to find their weakness, capitalize upon the team's weakness. But I mean, I can see some success in that strategy as far as your prep week, trying to figure out how to overcome their strength. And then if you do find a weakness, still you would capitalize on that. But if you spent the week preparing to overcome that strength, I mean, that would mean that would make your prep week a lot more intense.
But I'm sure that every once in a while you'd run into a person their strength was stronger than your attack.
Yeah.
But
well, you can't win them all.
In the wild game area, that's who the predators look for, is that weak person, that weak animal that they can best and have for dinner.
Yeah. When traveling with a friend, you don't have to outrun the bear. You got to outrun your friend.
Boy, let me tell you, I don't want to be chased by a bear. I can't even walk.
I don't want to be chased by nothing.
Okay, we're ready for Albertology.
Albertology. This is my favorite part of the show, I will admit.
I got a book right here. One day we were having Cam and Fresh Buzz here the first time, and we were meeting back behind closed doors, I guess you could say.
Behind the stage, yeah.
Behind the stage, and I found a book. And this is where I got a lot of this information, is out of that book. Okay, these are word origins. Ever wonder where certain words come from? Here's some things, the story behind money. Money is a currency. It's a medium of exchange in the form of coins and banknotes. Here is the origin. Hera was the queen of the Greek gods, and she kept her name out of the Vulgate, which was a common language, until she moved to Rome. We're in the book of Acts in Bible study. Paul has a desire to go to Rome. He appeals to Caesar in his defense one day, and Agrippa or Festus, one of the men he appears before, said, okay, you want to go to Caesar? To Caesar you will go. So she moved to Rome and became Juno. As Juno, she presided over a Roman temple where gold was coined. She became the eponym of money, and her temple was a mint, from a common noun by Willard Epstein. But anyway, she is the one that money came from. The word paddy wagon. You know what a paddy wagon is?
Mm,
Have you ever heard the word paddy wagon?
well, I think so. Is
It
that where
has
they
to do with
round
law
up
enforcement.
the jailers and
Yeah,
put them in the
yeah.
paddy wagon?
Okay, here's
Or
the
round up the convicts, rather.
here's the origin. A carryover from the days when English, Irish immigrants were low men on the social totem pole, and hence fair game when a roundup of miscreants were needed to create favorable publicity for the law enforcement people. So Paddy was a common nickname for Irishmen. So that's where the police van was named Paddy Wagon. I did not know that.
No, and I wouldn't have put that together.
Let me tell you this. Have you ever watched a hummingbird hum?
Mm-hmm.
Pound for pound, a hummingbird consumes the calorie equivalent of 228 milkshakes per day.
Boy, that sounds like fun.
Can you imagine drinking 2 milkshakes a day?
How much energy, though, you'd have to put out to maintain to be able to burn that kind of calories, how much moving they're going. That'd be another good one to know how many times a minute their wings flap. I've seen studies on that, but I don't remember.
I said that on here one time, and it was per second. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, you can't see them.
Now, let me tell you this. I did not know this. Why do dimes, quarters, and half dollars have notched edges on them, while a penny or a nickel does not?
Not a clue.
The U.S. Mint began putting notches on gold and silver coins to discourage people from shaving quantities of precious metal off the edges.
Make it more detectable.
Yeah, can you? It was so bad back then that merchants refused to accept coins that had been shaved. But anyway, dimes and quarters and half dollars were notched because they contained silver. Silver is not as valuable as gold is.
It's not as valuable, but
If you had
are
enough
the
of it-
coins, do they have as much precious metals in them as they used to? Aren't they
No.
more of an alloy anymore or whatever?
They don't have very much in them anymore. Okay, this is from Billy Graham. The Bible warns very strongly that you're to obey your parents. The rod is considered old-fashioned in many homes. Psychiatrists say it will warp your personality. So when I did something wrong as a boy, my mother warped part of me, but it was not my personality. Jellicoe's disease is alcoholism, and it's responsible for 50% of our automobile accidents. It's responsible for 80% of all home violence. It's responsible for 30% of all suicides. It's responsible for 60% of all child abuse. It's responsible for 65% of all drownings. Can you believe
Labor Day
it?
weekend coming up. People need to hear that. Everybody want to go to the lake and have fun. Be careful. Be responsible.
If you notice that alcoholic beverages are allowed to televise and sponsor whatever sporting events or anything, it is estimated that when a woman contracts this disease of alcoholism, her husband leaves her in 9 out of 10 cases. When a man contracts alcoholism, only 1 woman out of 10 leaves him. This is from Isaiah chapter 5. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink. This is from Richard Burton. When I played drunks on television or on movies, I had to remain sober because I didn't know how to play them when I was drunk. Richard Burton.
Who all Richard Burton play? I'm not good with that type of stuff either.
I do not know.
Okay, I'll leave. It'll be something else for us to look up.
Richard Burton was a good actor. This is something that a man gave this to me. He's in his 90s. He gave this to me several years ago. After 20 years of shaving himself, a man decided one morning he would go to the barber and pay for a shave. So he did. He told his wife, said, "I'm not going to shave today, I'm going to go to the barber." The barber was a pastor of the church he attended. But when he got there, the barber was not in. His wife was doing the work, and her name was Grace. So he said, "Well, I want to shave." She said, "Have a seat." So she shaved him, and he enjoyed the shave. She didn't nick him. So he said, "How much do I owe you?" She said, $25. He thought, well, that's awful steep just for a shave, but he had never bought one before. So he kept his mouth shut, gave her $25. The next morning, he decided he would just shave himself. He got up to shave himself, and he didn't need to shave. He thought, well, I wonder why, what happened here, because I'm used to shaving every day. But he dismissed it, didn't think much about it. He got up the next morning, still the same way, he didn't need to shave. He got to thinking, there's 2 days in a row I've not had to shave. After 7 days of not shaving and being clean shaven, he went back to that barber. And Grace was in there again that day. He said, "How come I've not had to shave?" She said, "Once shaved by grace, always shaved by grace." This is another thing that Hubert Davis gave me. The shoe man. Have you heard this before?
No.
The shoe man said, my alarm went off, and I was tired. I wanted to turn the alarm off and sleep in. But it was Sunday. So I thought, well, I'll not feel bad all day. I'll get up and I'll go to church. So he got up and took a shower and shaved himself, put on his suit and put on his tie. He got there just in time and slid into a pew, bowing his head in humble prayer. Before he closed his eyes, he saw that the man next to him, his shoe was touching his shoe. And he sighed. With plenty of room on either side, I thought, why do our souls have to touch? It bothered me so. He was glued to my shoe, but didn't seem to bother him much. Then the prayer began. Heavenly Father, someone said, but I thought, does this man with the shoes have no pride? They were dusty, worn, stretched, and scratched end to end. What's worse, there were holes on the side. Thank you for blessings, the prayer went on. The shoe man said a quiet amen. I tried to focus on the prayer, but my thoughts were on his shoes again. Are we supposed to look our best when walking through that door? Well, this certainly isn't it, I thought, glancing toward the floor. Then the prayer ended, and songs of praise began. The shoe man was loud, sounding proud as he sang. He lifted the rafters, his hands raised high. The Lord surely heard his voice from the sky. Then the offering was passed. What I threw in was steep. The shoe man reached into his pockets so deep, and I tried to see what he pulled out to put in. Then I heard a soft clink, as when silver heats tin. The sermon bored me to tears, and no lie. It was the same for the shoe man, for tears fell from his eyes. At the end of the service, as is custom here, we must greet the visitors and show them good cheer. But I was moved inside to want to meet this man, so after the closing I shook his hand. He was old, his skin dark, his hair a mess. I thanked him for coming, for being our guest. He said, "My name's Charlie. Glad to meet you, my friend." And there were tears in his eyes, but he had a wide grin. "Let me explain," he said, wiping his eyes. "I've been coming here for months, and you're first to say hi. I know I don't look like all the rest, but I always try to look my best. I polish my shoes before my long walk, but by the time I get here, they're as dirty as chalk." My heart fell to my knees, but I held back my tears. He continued, "And I must apologize for sitting so near, but I knew when I got here I must look a sight, and I thought if I touched you, our souls might unite." I was silent for a moment, knowing anything I said would pale in comparison, so I spoke from my heart, not my head. "Oh, you touched me," I said, "and taught me in part that the best of a man is what's in his heart. The rest I thought this man will never know. How thankful I am that he touched my soul." Remember the line where the shoe soles met, where the two S-O-U-L-S met? That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hubert Davis. Hubert is a good friend of mine. His wife and I went to school together. I guess better tell some jokes now.
Better tell some jokes now, huh?
People walk up to me and tell me that they watch the television show. They say I like the jokes best.
I like Albertology, but I love a good joke. But
Well,
I got one. How much time we got? You got a bunch of them?
you got one?
I
Go
got
ahead.
one.
Go ahead.
So was talking on the gospel meeting part, learning to die from Jesus. So that's what made me think of it. That's what triggered it. But so a man, a woman, and a mother-in-law went on vacation to the Holy Land. The mother-in-law passed away. The undertaker done his job. He said, "Look, we've got the opportunity. We've got a place here we can bury her, but it costs you $150. And we've done the research to get her shipped home for you. It's going to cost $5,500. What would you like to do?" Husband, without thinking for a second, I mean just right away, said, "Ship her home." The undertaker looked at him and said, "Sir, for $150, we can bury her right here in the Holy Land. Or for $5,500, you're going to take her home." He said, "Look, a little over 2,000 years ago, y'all buried a guy here. 3 days later, he got up. I'm not risking it."
Mother-in-laws get a lot of rub.
Mm-hmm. That was just a joke. I repeated it, didn't write it.
When Karen and I got married, it was supposed to be a secret. We eloped. So when we got back to Pikeville, she said, "You go tell Mother." I thought, by golly, you want me to go tell your mother that I married her baby daughter? So she said yes. So I went to tell Orme that Karen and I got married. She hit the ceiling. I mean, she cried and she yelled and she screamed, and then she stopped cold turkey and looked at me with beady eyes, and she said, "If I had a gun, I'd kill you." And she meant it. But you know what?
Now, eloping was not all that uncommon in your day.
But Karen was just 16.
But it wasn't all that uncommon.
No,
right?
People got married when they were younger than that.
So, and nobody throwed, well, I bet she's pregnant out, didn't they?
I heard that later.
Did you? Okay. Because, so, I got married in 2002. We were in our early 20s. Had been courting for 5 years. But I asked her father, that's an old another story that could be a big long joke, but I'll not tell it today. But anyway, so in February, I got her a ring and asked for her hand in marriage, and she accepted. And she was getting out of school in May. And so we got married in May. 3 months of engagement.
What day in May?
18th.
We got married on the 10th.
Is that right? It's a good time of year. It was
Yeah.
cold. We got an outdoor wedding. You'd think 18th of May, you'd think it's beautiful. Man, in the pictures, she's not wearing a coat, but just quick as they got through taking pictures, she put on a great big coat. Man, it's cold outside. They had some of them outdoor heaters because we had to set up to eat outside and everything. It come through a rain that night before, and boy, it's cold. But either way, in 3 months we was engaged. Had courted for 5 years, was engaged for 3 months. But they was people asked, well, assumed, well, she must have got pregnant. Reason they not gonna be engaged very long. I don't. Why they think you need to have a long engagement? There's a song out there somewhere, I believe, in long courtships and short engagements. I guess that's what I believed in. But once we made up our minds that we was going to do it, what's the wait?
We left here in 1953. After we'd been married 1 week, I went to Dayton, Ohio, and got a job. 1 week later, she came up there to me. About 3 or 4 months later, we came to Pikeville on vacation. And while we were here, I got a job offer. Carolyn said, we'll take it. So we went back to Dayton, Ohio, and got our clothes and got everything and came back to Pikeville to live. A month later, we'd been married 4 or 5 months. I went to buy her a sleeping outfit, a robe, she said. So I went to one of the stores in town, and that man said, is it for before or after? I was naive. I said, before or after what? He said, the baby. I said, what baby? It caught me off guard. But people assume that you had to get married. Dadgum.
Assume we had to do it in a hurry, I reckon. People don't even worry about it no more. They don't even get married.
Shotgun weddings. Okay. A customer in an Italian restaurant is so pleased with his meal that he insists on telling the chef personally. So the owner proudly leads him back to the kitchen. Your pizza is superb, the customer told the chef. I just spent a month in Italy, and yours is better than any I had over there. Naturally, he said over there they use domestic cheese. Ours is imported. Where were bobbleheads created? In the land of Nod. On a caving expedition, a man falls into a hole. His partner says, are you hurt? He yells back, no. Well, how could you fall down that hole and not be hurt? Because I'm still falling. A man walks into a bar with a chicken pot pie on his head. The barber asks him, why are you wearing a chicken pot pie on your head? The man replies, it's an old family tradition. We always wear chicken pot pies on our heads on Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. Oh dear, I must look like a real fool. The doorbell rings at 2 a.m. and wakes the couple up from a sound sleep. The husband runs downstairs, throws open the door, and finds a guy standing in the pouring rain. I need a push, the guy says. The husband slams the door and storms back to bed. His wife said, who was that? It's some man in trouble. He's wanting a push. Help the man, the wife said. So he felt bad and he went back downstairs and opened the front door and he shouted, hey pal, where are you? The guy shouts, I'm on the swing. He was waiting. A grand tour of grandmas. What do Americans call their grandmothers? We have a woman that comes to our church. She's of Spanish descent. They call her I don't remember if Olmedo. Olmedo. And that is Spanish for grandmother. Grandmothers. Grandma is the most common nickname nationwide. Nana is the next most popular. What do you call your mother? Grandmother?
Well, my grandmother, we had Granny, which was
Granny.
my mother's mother. But, talking about people assuming things, my grandma Dot, nobody ever give her a Granny style nickname. Everybody just kept calling her Dot, and all us kids caught on to that. So to us, she was just Dot.
Really?
And so I've had people ask me when I was growing up, what happened to my real Granny? Assumed that she was like a second marriage or something, since we just called her Dot. Didn't, and we didn't feel like it was disrespectful, or well, I mean,
Well,
if she
everybody did. Everybody did.
yeah, that was so. I had a Granny, and then I had a Dot. So
Okay, Grandma is the most common nickname nationwide. Nana is the next most popular, with a big presence in New England and the Midwest, followed by Granny and Gran.
those are what my kids have. They have a Granny and a Gran.
Grandmother is popular in Hawaii. Abuelo, that's what it was. That's Spanish for grandmother. Abuelo. Her name is Omeda. But Carolyn was Nanny.
Nanny.
And when Billy started calling her Nanny, everybody started using that name. I even called Carolyn Nanny. Okay, I was trying the new hairstylist. Once I sat down, I launched into how I wanted my hair cut. Leave the top long, don't trim the back too short. The stylist said, "Oh, be quiet." Playfully tapping me on the top of the head with her comb. There are only 2 or 3 haircuts out there, and you're getting one of them. This person that said, "What's Romeo and Juliet?" Well, it's a story about 2 people who fall in love. 2 parents, both English professors, one is Shakespearean, give a long age of appropriate synopsis. Wow. Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, I can't believe they fell in lava. Some 40 years after the film hit theaters, Harrison Ford still can't escape the theme song from Indiana Jones. As he told Variety, he's mentioned to John Williams, the song's composer, that his music follows me everywhere I go, literally. When I had my last colonoscopy, they were playing it on the operating room speakers.
Oh my.
I worked in the grocery store for 42 years. I loaded groceries in people's car too many times. I can remember opening the door to the back seat to put the groceries in the car, and the Bible would be in the floorboard. Listen to this. As I placed groceries into the bag, a customer asked, "Will it all fit?" "Yes," I replied. "It's a little heavy, a little awkward, but it'll all fit." Story of my life. A little heavy, a little awkward. I have to tell people when I buy groceries not to put too many things in a bag because it gets too heavy for me. My classmate said he's going into consulting because he likes giving his opinion, but it doesn't like doing anything except giving his opinion. I would say the average person thinks their opinion is number one. I guess that's the way we're made. I don't really know, but I don't give my opinion unless I'm asked.
That's the key. Is being overbearing with your opinion. But as far as if you ask me my opinion, then if I thought my opinion was wrong, I would change my opinion. I've come to this conclusion because of what I have witnessed, what I have lived, what I have seen. But it's that being overbearing, just running around telling people that didn't ask and timing, the whole time. And every once in a while, the timing's appropriate. You and I to have a conversation and to share our opinion. But when somebody's over here doing something, they just come up. In my opinion, you're doing that wrong, sir.
And I'm sure some people do that.
Yeah. So
I teach Sunday school, and I'm careful when I come to a situation in teaching God's Word that it calls for an explanation. I'm careful to always say, this is not what the Bible says, this is what Albert says.
It's like I say, the timing, and when you're in that leading position, that's your role, to keep the class going, to keep the conversation going. I'm terrible at knowing when's the wrong time to. I need that lesson and knowing when to hush sometimes. I'm not real good at that. You got one mouth and two ears type. I need that reminder regularly.
But most people like to be the center of attention. Most people like to talk. The people that feel like they need to talk, if they've got something to say, then I'm all for it. But most people that talk have little to say.
Yeah.
That's all I have in the jokes and Albertology.
Albertology. Words of wisdom there at the end. We didn't really end on a gut buster there. We was getting words of wisdom at the end. That might be a better way to finish than jokes. Let jokes segue into Albert's final word of wisdom for the week.
People think that because of my age, that I have wisdom, but I do not deem myself as being wise, but I've had experience.
Well, and wisdom's the knowledge and experience put together. And some people have never sought knowledge and learning, but they've got years of experience, but they've still not. And others have sought the knowledge and learning, but they've concentrated too much on that. They haven't got out here and applied it. So wisdom is the two combined.
I've been reading in the book of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes is one of the books of wisdom in the Bible. And the man that wrote the book of Ecclesiastes was Solomon, the wisest man that ever lived.
You know how they knew how wise he was? I've told this one before on there when you got to talking about Solomon. You remember? When they was telling about just how wise, to prove just how wise Solomon was, he was even wiser than Ethan.
Wiser than Ethan. But Solomon, in writing the book of Ecclesiastes, he tried education, he tried wisdom, he tried knowledge, he tried politics, he tried pleasure. Everything he's tried, he said, all is vanity. Until you get to the 12th chapter, you don't really understand how smart Solomon was.
Well, he said, with all that wisdom, it was a burden on him. Yeah. Once people got to realizing just how wise he was, they was bringing him their problems. Help us solve our problem. So,
but he was a wise man.
Yeah.
He wrote so many proverbs. And, can you imagine his mind? Golly bun. It is really interesting to read the book of Ecclesiastes.
Oh yeah.
But if you read the first chapters, you've got to understand this is what Solomon is saying, that he's tried. He's not saying this is true. This is what he's tried.
Ecclesiastes got 31 chapters also.
12 chapters.
Just 12. Proverbs has got 31.
31 chapters.
So you can read a proverb a day, most months over and over. But I was thinking Ecclesiastes was a good follow study, but I got that wrong then.
The book of Ecclesiastes, the book of Proverbs, and the book of Job there are the three books of wisdom literature in the Bible. My sister gave me a new Bible about a month ago, and it's Tree of Life Bible. Tree of Life was written by a rabbi's wife. Her name is Goldberg. They changed the books of the Old Testament around. They don't do that to the New Testament. But the Bible ends in the Old Testament with First and Second Chronicles. And when you're reading the Bible, when you come to Jesus, it's Yeshua. When you come to God, it's Adonai. They just don't use the word God, and they don't use the word Jesus. They don't use the word Holy Spirit. They have a real word for that from Hebrew.
Hebrew words.
But it's I don't like that part about it, because I'm used to. I learned the books of all 66 books, but I've got Malachi is the last book in the Old Testament. So First and Second Chronicles.
I still struggle with knowing where to go in the Old Testament. Somebody taught me one time that Psalms is right in the middle.
That's my
So when you're looking, and I'm pretty good at knowing what's before and after Psalms. You know, the history books, as you're saying, wisdom books, and then the song books, Psalms and Song of Solomon, and then major prophets, minor prophets. I'm pretty decent at knowing what's one of them, so I know which side of Psalms to go, and then I can do the New Testament just because of the song. Teach a kid anything by teaching them a song.
That's how I learned it.
That's the way I know that. So.
But now, in the book of the Old Testament, you got 5 major prophets books, but only 4 major prophets. One of those guys wrote 2 books, the book of Jeremiah and Lamentations.
Okay.
One man wrote that, so you don't have but 4 major prophets. You got 12 minor prophets, and that's what the book ends on in Malachi. He's the 12th
minor prophet.
Well,
I would have, if you would have just asked me where's Lamentations fit in my categories, I would have put it in one of the songs type books.
But it's one of the major prophets.
So it's a major prophet book then. All right.
But there's only 5 chapters in Lamentations. But Isaiah has 66 chapters. Can you imagine the Bible is written on scrolls? Scrolls could be papyrus, or they could be animal skins. But the paper, the papyrus, was 11 or 12 inches wide, but it was on rollers, and the rollers would hold as many chapters as you had. So the book of Psalms has 150 chapters. So a scroll could be 30 feet long. And they handed Jesus the scroll of Isaiah one day when he went into the synagogue, and he found the place that he wanted to read. And he read what he wanted to read. And he said, "This day is this scripture fulfilled in your ears." It's so rich. That Bible is so rich.
Oh yeah. The more you study in the Old Testament, the more, to me, you believe it's inspired. The things that God instructed them, that science now has proved you need to do it this way, that they had no scientific knowledge of why they were doing some of the things they were doing. They were doing it out of faith, just how to live, good ways to live. So it's been there all along.
The Bible says, holy men of God spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit. That's how we got 69 books. 69 books is canonized. They stood the test of time. There's other books that were written, but only 69, only 66 books are in the Bible.
Well, we've added a segment to the show. Instead of ending on jokes, we've ended on Albert's final word of wisdom. We ready to close it up for the day?
I think it's time to leave.
I don't want to cut you short on words of wisdom, but it is hot, isn't it?
It is hot.
So.
I don't think it's going to rain right now.
It did rain just a few minutes ago in Bellevue, though. I got word.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got rain in Bellevue a few minutes ago. I am thankful.
That's on this mountain?
Yeah. Northwest corner of Bledsoe County. Bellevue, Tennessee. Such a fine, fine place to live. Full of good neighbors.
Thank you for taking Billy's place today, sir.
Well, I probably didn't laugh enough. I said I'd laugh and act goofy as good as anybody. I just handled the goofy. I probably didn't laugh enough, but oh well.
I'm glad you were here.
We'll dock my pay. Well, that does it for this episode. Like I say, like, share, subscribe, make good comments, thumbs ups, whatever it takes out there on the YouTube world. I hope you enjoyed it right here on Channel 18. And for our radio listeners, yes, one thing we'll add, Bledsoe County plays Cumberland County High School in football here in just a few minutes. So I'm not sure if they'll have the radio air with Billy being under the weather. But it's just right there up in Crossville. They play the Jets at the old high school. So
yes,
just run up there and support them if you can. So good luck to them gentlemen this evening. So that'll do it for this episode of the Albert and Billy Show. Again, I'm Ethan Loyd setting in. I appreciate your time. Y'all have a great week.
See you later.
Hey folks, Albert and Billy here. You're watching us on Channel 18, BTC Fiber. Check us out on BTC Fiber YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and like. And check out our Facebook page. Be sure to like and share. Thanks everybody for watching.